and grab that little bit that's in there. Definitely slowed down though, there's not that much coming out now. I think I'm going to call that done. Put our thermometer away. And we will turn our heating and stirring, turn off our hot plate. And we can just lift that whole assembly up. Best way to cool the hot blocks is actually to just dump them in the sink and run some water on it, but I don't want to break the glassware that's in there. So I'm going to set that aside for a second. Turn off our cooling water. Lower that down. Try to make sure I don't touch that. So you see, if you look at the graduations on the vial, there's some liquid remaining, probably not more than half a milliliter. I could actually try to distill that a little bit more, maybe leaving a little behind. The spin vane, of course, is taking up some volume. So I think we'll go ahead and continue to call that done. Once I get that spin vane out of there, I think that'll be below 0.5 milliliters. Let that cool so I can handle it. All right. So I'm going to take these out of here. Because I want to cool my hot blocks, and the way to cool those is to throw them in the back of the sink so I can run some water on them. Obviously I want to make sure the cord doesn't come in contact with the hot plate, so once again I'm going to roll that cord up so the cord is underneath the stirring hot plate when I put it away, and there's no risk of meltable rubber coming into contact with hot plate. So that'll sit right there. No one's going to touch it. And I'm just going to run cold water on those guys to cool them down fast so I can put them away. One of the many lab hacks get you out faster. Those guys cool. Remember to take these off, you just kind of roll it backwards. Makes them come off more easily. Roll it back on itself. I can disconnect my clamp. Take all these pieces apart. It's fighting me a little bit. There we go. These guys can go in the back. You remember I said I wanted to run cold water through here to get the HCl out of the hose, so now it's time to do that. Just kind of rinse that hose out. This has been sitting there for long enough that I can probably just rinse that some more and get that put away. Same with the thermometer adapter and the beaker. Just let that run for a little bit while I disconnect these. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get that O-ring down where you can grab it with your fingers. Especially on the Hickman still, that's going to be hard because it's so short. So to get the Hickman still, to get that O-ring off, it's just barely touchable at this point. Looks like it's going to have to cool a little bit more before I can get that apart. Let's clamp back. So I've got my chloride sitting in there, and that's just going to sit there while I was off camera. One of the other things I was doing, in addition to kind of cleaning up and monitoring the reaction, is I was starting up the gas chromatography mass spectrometer. That has to pump down for at least 24 hours to establish the vacuum in there, so we won't run that until tomorrow. So we got those apart. Really good rinse. And as I said, to get that O-ring out of there is going to be a little difficult because it's so short. So I probably can't get it with my fingers. So I'll have to reach in there with either a pair of tweezers or a spatula so I can kind of grab the end of it. So it's a little bit of a challenge to get the O-ring off the Hickman still. There we go. Got it. These guys will dry and then they'll go back in their jar. And I just need to clean up. So that's it for that reaction.